in Melbourne. Sofia Kenin is an American dream.
Winning a major championship.
Last season was one to remember for Sofia Kenin. She won her first Grand Slam singles title in Melbourne. She beat Ash Barty there. She beat Garbiñe Muguruza. She finished as the WTA Player of the Year. So now, Lindsay, as we enter 2021, how do the pressures change as she enters as a Grand Slam champion and as the reigning WTA Player of the Year?
Well, there's no question the pressure is there. The expectations are there. Once you're a Grand Slam champion, that's what you want to try and do over and over again. And Sofia, she's so driven. This is what she has wanted since she's been very little. So she works incredibly hard. Really came out of nowhere for a lot of the tennis fans, for us in the media, but not in her mind. She thought she could be a Grand Slam champion, and it all came together in Melbourne. She played very well in Paris before her injury and losing to Swiatek in that final. She almost won 2 majors in a year, which is pretty remarkable. Didn't play well at the U.S. Open. I think she puts a lot of pressure on herself to try and do well again. I think she expects it from herself, but I think that's what drives her on the practice court, and that's what's going to make her continue to improve.
Yeah, there are 2 types of pressure, right? There's the pressure that you put on yourself. She's going to do that because of that expectation, because of that drive. Then there's the public expectation. There are the expectations from your sponsors, the commercial obligations. That's still to come for her because we had such a disjointed 2020. She didn't get the full benefit of winning the Australian Open and all of the exposure that would have surely been there for at Roland Garros had it been played in the spring and Wimbledon and the U.S. Open. So for her, the public expectation, I still don't think it's there. I think that she certainly expects to win, but I don't think that everyone's looking at the Australian Open who's not a close tennis fan like we are going like, oh, if she has a bad tournament, that's a tough loss, bad for her. So I don't feel like that weight is also part of the equation for her just yet, but it's probably coming.
Yeah, and one of the other things to Jim's point is, are there going to be more eyeballs on Coco Gauff, on Serena Williams, on even Madison Keys and Sloane Stephens to see how they come back? It may be unfair, but is her profile, 5th or 6th amongst American women? It was like this underground tennis year that was in and out of COVID. Were enough people paying attention? But one thing about Sofia Kenin, no expectation, she's going to bring it mentally. She's going to figure it out. Played average at the U.S. Open, was certainly a disappointing performance, was able to kind of gather the mental reserves, work her way through the first week at Roland Garros, and almost pull off winning that event. So she's tough with everything we're talking about, with the quarantine, all of the weirdness, schedule adjustments. Her mental fitness will be there.
She wants the eyeballs on her. I mean, she kind of yearns for that spotlight. She's the top-ranked American heading into the year. Not only was she the only woman on the WTA to get to 2 major finals, she was the only one to get to 2 major semifinals. So, I mean, spectacular season for Sofia Kenin. Andy, you brought up Serena Williams, 39 years old. She's won the Australian Open 7 times. Last time was 2017. What do you expect from her? What's it going to take from Serena to get that 24th major title that we know she's gunning for the history?
Yeah, just a match or 2 more. She's been getting to the tail end of Grand Slam tournaments. Sorry, the studio's amazing. My feed on Skype, maybe not so much, but she's been there. She's been at the tail end. It's not as if she hasn't been working her way through events. I think it's just a matter of her wanting that record so badly, being the all-time slams winner. It has such a gravity to it. You lose 1 slam final, you lose 2, all of a sudden 4, and then you lose in a semi. People are chit-chattering a little bit more. And listen, sports is the best reality show. There's no script. Just because you're Serena Williams doesn't mean people roll over once you get to a final. Is she the most dominant player, head and shoulders above everyone else now? No. Can she still go in and win a Grand Slam tournament? I believe she absolutely can. From what we're seeing from bits of social media, she looks fit. She looks like she's practicing. Her TikTok game is on point. I'm excited to see what she brings in 2021.
Yeah, and as Andy said, I mean, she's playing for, massive history. We're not just talking about, I want to be the first one to win whatever. I mean, she's going for it all here. And I think that has caught up to her. There's no way that it couldn't have. As Andy said, she plays a great game. She's been so close the last couple of years, so many times, healthy. She has got to hold up at a major. We've seen her get to the semi. We've seen her get to a final, not be quite 100%. Maybe these last few months it has allowed her body to heal and to get ready to withstand the vigors of 7 matches in, for the women, 13 days, and be ready to go and be just as fresh at the end as she is in the beginning.
I think the Australian Open might just be a great chance for her because everyone's coming out of the cold, right? Everyone's had a long off season in women's tennis. No one has any momentum or form to work off of. So she's coming in on equal terms, which has not been the case for her a lot of the last few seasons. But she's made 4 finals. She's played far below the tennis that got her to those finals once she played for those titles. She just needs to find a way to be herself in the finals. And I'm not saying that's easy because she's basically playing for the walk-off to the movie of her life. It's hard to beat Pete Sampras and win the last major you play. It's not easy.
But if anyone can do it, it's certainly Serena Williams. And remember, she won a title last year. First title as a mom, got that early in the year in Auckland. So has won a title in 4 decades.
Yeah.
4 decades.
Yeah, she's Serena and we're not.
Yeah, absolutely. And still, number 11 player in the world entering this season.